Welcome to Sibiu in Romania for round 7 of the FIA European Rally Championship, the Sibiu Rally. And while Romania's ERC Rally is classified as a gravel event, the Sibiu Rally does incorporate some tarmac sections, with the famous Santa Max stage featuring a combination of the two surfaces. Sibiu's gravel roads are rough, punctures are a constant threat, the temperature is exceeding 30 degrees C. This is the championship standings after Ipra Kopecki leading with 3 wins and Craig Breen in second.
Depuis le service park à Sibiu avec François Delecourt.
From the service park then, a chat with François Delecourt about the upcoming rally. It's a very untypical rally, a bit like the ones we knew in WRC, such as Rally of Greece, Cyprus, the Safari. Sibiu is a rally where you have to manage yourself physically, manage the car, the mechanics. And last year I remember that I broke regularly suspensions during the event. This year we'll have to drive more safely, smartly, try to avoid the stones on the road and be at the finish. So located some 282 kilometers northwest of Bucharest, Sibiu was the capital of the Principality of Transylvania between 1692 and 1791. Sibiu is one of the most important cultural centres of Romania. The city was designated a European Capital of Culture in 2007. Beautiful countryside, and it also makes for one of the most scenic service parks in international rallying, with quaint historic buildings lining the Piața Mare, a large square in Sibiu where it's located. First up then is the qualifying stage, of course. Held on the local rallycross track, in fact. Jan Kopecki, championship leader, back in the European Rally Championship, chasing that European title. Second, of course, 4 times in the Intercontinental Rally Challenge. He was fastest, and that will allow him to choose first in starting position. Brian Bouffier and Panseri alongside him. Another last-minute call-up for Bouffier. How narrow the qualifying stage was as well. Joined Hyundai's World Rally team as a test driver for the rest of the season. Back in the Delta Peugeot 207 S2000. He won in Corsica earlier this year. He's second fastest, just 56,000 off Kopecki, and will choose second. And just pips this man, the legend François Delecourt, reigning Romanian rally champion, in fact, backed by Romanian backers. Leading this year's championship currently, he's third fastest on the qualifying stage, 2.5 seconds off Kopecki, and will make the third choice of starting order. This is David Botka, Hungarian driver in the Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 9R4. Surprisingly, he was 4th fastest, just 2.7 seconds back from Kopecki. Great job by him. Of course, 4th choice for the starting order. Toshihiro Arai, Japanese driver in the Subaru Impreza R4. This is his first outing in the new look European Rally Championship. Running Yokohama tyres. Deep gravel, we can expect to see more of that on the opening day stages. He's 5th fastest. He's planning on doing 4 events this year. And this man here, this is Marco Tempestini, local driver, competing in the European and the Romanian Championship. Normally competes in a Subaru, but has swapped to the Skoda S2000 as it's double points for the Romanian Championship here. He's 9th fastest on the qualifying stage.
His starting position.
So drivers then get to choose their starting positions. Kopecki up first. Gravel events are normally you'd expect them to choose slightly further down the order because the road will sweep and get faster, but Kopecki goes straight for the top. He has his reasons for that as well.
On this rally we have a lot of loose stones and loose rocks, and I'm a little bit afraid that with many cars these loose stones will come to the line, and then you can make the puncture much easier. And second fact is that we are as a team a little bit afraid about the dust because it's so dry over here and it will be very hot during the weekend.
Interesting tactics then from Kopecki. Bouffier doesn't hesitate to stick himself in second position, obviously thinking along the same lines.
François Delecourt.
And Francois Delacour, a third choice. And a little joke from the Frenchman before he goes for third place on the road. This is leg 1 and leg 2. 7 stages on both, 14 stages in total, 216 competitive kilometres. Now this was the podium start and the city parade. On Thursday evening, all the drivers attended the ceremonial start. The podium based in that fantastic Piazza Mare Square in the historical centre of Sibiu. Organised in the centre of the city, an enormous number of spectators along for the evening celebrations. Great show put on by the organisers. Not surprising though, after the 2012 UEFA Europa League final, which was played in Bucharest, the Sibiu Rally is the second largest sporting event in the country. Fantastic to see motorsport given such a high profile. And the ERC, like the IRC before it, continuing to visit new countries, particularly places that really embrace the sport. Fantastic. Sibiu then out towards the first special stage, you can see there, 7.3 kilometres. Then into Crinti, which is much longer. Longest of the rally on gravel. It's around 30 degrees C. Hot and dry with a lot of dust on the stages. Will Kopecký's decision to run first be right or wrong? There he is away from the start then, on board with Kopecký and Dresler. The Fabia S2000 opens the road, and that will mean cleaning off that loose gravel on top, and there was a lot of it. Very deep gravel. In fact, Kopecký didn't think that it would clear. Look how much the car's moving around. Said he took it easy not to puncture, and you can really clearly see here on board just how deep that gravel was. 423.9 from Kopecký. That was the benchmark for Bouffier. Fantastic angle there on the onboard. Have a look down at the feet, and you can see just how much work goes into moving one of these S2000 cars around. He said no risk, running second on the road. 2.8 seconds slower than Kopecký. 426.7. Francois Delacour up next. 51 years old at the end of August. Wants big points on this round, as it's double points, we've mentioned already, for the Romanian Championship, which he's also contesting. Always working hard in the Peugeot. Tried to follow the clean lines of Kopecký and Bouffier in front, but again, from these pictures you can see, really not that clean anyway. Beats Kopecký by 0.2 of a second, and he's fastest on the stage. Life in the old dog yet. Toshio Rai away from the line in the Impreza R4, 4th on the road. His first international rally of the season. He's been racing a GT3 Porsche back at home in endurance events, and has been the zero car on several Japanese rallies. Nice to see him back out in the Subaru. Edwin Coletti in the Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 10. He's a defensive driving trainer, a journalist and a rally driver. So a good mix of career options there. Attacking drive to 4th fastest time, just 5 seconds behind Delacour. Here's a simulcam then between Kopecký and Coletti. Two different spec cars, of course, S2000. This is a downhill section. And at first he manages to keep up. You can see the difference. And Fabia is able to brake a bit later, not quite so heavy. And of course, better suspension travel, traction, just a little bit further ahead. Marco Tempestini driving for Napoca Rally Academy in the Skoda Fabia S2000 again. Still very, very competitive, this car. Great to see the 207 can keep up with it as well. And Vitaly Pushkar, 5th fastest on the stage. Tight fight between the R4 cars. 3 cars separated by 3 seconds after special stage 1. So that's the short opening stage from the Sibiu Rally. We'll be back with the monster 27-kilometre stage in just a moment. Well, after the short warm-up of a stage that was special stage 1, the crews are now facing the very demanding stage of Crint. 27 kilometres long. around 3 in the afternoon. On board with Kopecky. Early drama in the rally for the Skoda driver. Second overall by just a 10th after special stage 1. He drops time in special stage 2 when after 6 kilometres of a 27-kilometre stage, the power steering fails. You can see the difference there immediately from being able to turn his hands right the way over, barely able to turn the wheel at all. Biggest problem, he said, was the bumps. With the impact up through the suspension, just pulled the wheel from his hands. 13.7 seconds slower, but I think a very, very good job, considering around 21 kilometres with no power assistance. Fantastic piece of road there. Brian Bouffier, fastest time on this stage, bit of understeer through that one. Takes the lead. He worked very, very hard to get to this event, finding the funds. Glad to be here. Great reward for him to take the lead. 15 days testing he'll be doing with the Hyundai World Rally Team this year. Fantastic driver. I rate him very highly. Good to see him get that chance. Hannanen as well signed up with the team, and Chris Atkinson, in fact, announced today as the 3rd test driver as well. And Hyundai sweeping up all the leftover drivers in their attempt to rejoin the World Rally Championship. Francois Delacour screaming the 207 S2000 down the road. To drive these cars very hard anyway. Oh, look at Delacour, massive moment. Somehow carries it onto the next corner and just flicks the weight back in again. Hay bales at the side of the road, sometimes to stop the drivers from using pieces of road they don't want them to. 3.1 seconds slower than Bouffier. He said he'd slowed down to try and avoid punctures. Doesn't really look like that, does it? Just a 10th of a second separating the 2 French drivers. 10.8 seconds ahead of Kopecky. Said at the end of the stage, not bad. I was scared in the start. There were some rocks. In many places, I was driving carefully. Not one where we were watching clearly. Toshio Rai, 5th on the road. And 5th fastest time. Steady start for a Rai on special stage.